Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Althea Center. And happy Independence Day, 245-year birthday. Woohoo! So, on this July 4th, it's an interesting time, isn't it? Isn't that a Chinese proverb? May you live in interesting times. And there are so many quotes on patriotism. And one that I like is, the life of the nation is secure only while the nation is honest, truthful, and virtuous. Amen. And that is from Frederick Douglass. So we have a wonderful program today on this 245th birthday. We have a terrific message, great music, you just heard them. There will be a couple of songs during the time here, and so just a couple of housekeeping duties. If you have a cell phone, if you wouldn't mind putting that on vibrate, or silent, or stun, or some setting so that it doesn't go off, because Sarma is our sergeant at arms, and she will be collecting them if they do go off. And let's see, we have, oh yes, how many first-timers here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh my gosh, welcome, thank you so much. We're going to be handing out a flower, so keep your hands up. And that is to let the rest of us know that you are newbies. And if you would like to get on our mailing list, which I encourage you to do, please let me or one of the ushers, Sarma in the background, Susan who's running the camera, just let us know. It's the best way to keep involved about what's happening at the Althea Center. And there is always something going on. That is one of, and for those of you who, since your first time here, you may not know, we are in somewhat of a transition period. Although it's been so long, it doesn't feel like a transition anymore. It's just we're moving in a new direction. Very exciting, very thrilling. And one of the things that we are working on is membership. So that will, I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. You may notice this candle and this altar up here at the front. Again, please know if you come back here, you may want to bring a little memento. And we hope you do come back here for a remembrance of someone or something that you would like to be blessed with the energy through the service. And so Barbara Vale sets up this altar every Sunday, and it's just a lovely, lovely acknowledgement for you to participate in. And then be sure and collect your belonging before you leave. Instead of doing announcements in the opening, we are going to move immediately into an opening prayer. And so this is a period of time where you can just close your eyes as comfortable if you're comfortable doing that. And to just get quiet and to breathe and to relax and to just let go. And to simply know that during this time, each of us in our own way focuses on our breath and that energy that is each of us, that soul, that spirit. And this is the time when we focus on our oneness with it and with each person in this sanctuary. And it is time when we can breathe and just let go of the day, maybe the week, maybe the month, maybe the year. Because when we do, we truly experience independence. We experience our oneness not only with spirit, with God, with whatever you want to call it, Buddha, Allah, Yahweh, Shiva, Krishna, or Harry Hassenpfeffer, whatever name you give it, that spirit is life itself. And we are united to each other. We are united to each other not only in this room, but in this city, in this state, and in this nation, regardless of our beliefs about it. On the level of oneness, let us just know and declare our oneness with each and every citizen in this country. For when we do, we know that there is goodness in everybody. In everybody, because everybody wears the face of God. And when you go there, there's really nowhere else to go. There is no division. There is no separation. There is no separateness. There is only unity. And as I like to remind myself, in this glorious community, there is unity in the word community. And so, in this moment, I also bless every person in this nation, and let's extend it to bless every person in the world. For though we have different nations, we are truly one with the entire world, and now with the entire universe, for there is only the one. And with our hearts filled with gratitude at this wisdom and this knowledge which each and every one of us knows in our heart of hearts, we each in our own way give thanks for this glorious breath that we breathe, for this beautiful community, this sanctuary, for this nation. And I know that we come here for succor, we come here for rejuvenation, to replenish the energy to meet that world when we leave this sacred place. And we know that every place outside these doors is sacred as well. And we take that love and that energy and we spread it among the world. For the world needs you, the world needs me, the world needs us. And so we just let all of the stress go. We do not give it any attention. We simply focus on oneness and let go any sense of division and embrace only goodness and love always. And so it is. Amen, amen, amen. Sorry. What a beautiful day. So in honor of the 4 women who founded this center here, we at Althea have a statement of being, and it should be on your handout. And it's a way to acknowledge Melinda Kramer and Nona L. Brooks, along with her sisters Fanny Brooks James and Althea Brooks Small, and another woman by the name of Kate Bingham, who played decisive roles in building this sanctuary 100 years ago. And First Divine Science is actually about 110, 20 years old, if not older. And so if you'll follow along with me, God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one substance, one power, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. We are individualized expressions of God and are ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. And so that comes to our, let's see, is that next? Let's see. Too many papers. Yes, our first reading of the day, Dick. Where's Dick? Did he leave? Not so lucky. Dick Peterson is going to be reading something for today's service.
told me that he let me know a long time ago. I don't believe him. He's lied to me before. So we don't always trust Rick. When I had an ankle problem, he had us all pray for the wrong ankle. And he admitted his guilt on that one. But what I wanted to do, yeah. But I've been thinking about what I want to do. I'm going to tell, maybe a little flawed a bit, but an Old Testament story that always kind of brings me to tears myself. And it's in the book of Samuel. And some of you remember the story, and I think I've got the figures right, but it doesn't matter. And Samuel has a nephew. And Samuel, they're all asleep. And his nephew wakes Samuel up and says, "Samuel, why are you talking to me? What did you want?" And Samuel says, "I never said anything to you. Go back to sleep." And the second time, the little boy comes up and says, "Samuel, you did call me. I heard you." And Samuel said, "I didn't do it." And the third time, all of you remember this story, the third time Samuel comes up, or the little boy comes up and says, "Samuel, I heard you talk to me." And Samuel says, "Speak, Lord." Said to his nephew, "Just say, 'Speak, Lord, for my servant heareth.'" And that story just always rings true for me as an Old Testament story, which I like better than the New Testament. Thank you.
Thank you, Dick. I don't know what he's complaining about. That ankle never felt better that we were treating for. All right. Thank you, Dick, so much. Our musicians for today are Tom Farber and Peter Wolf. If you want to come up, or however you're doing it. So Tom played piano, ukulele, guitar, trombone as a youth, picking up Native American-style flute in 2014 after years away from music. Now retired, Tom is a volunteer park ranger at Rocky Mountain National Park, current host of the Mile High Flute Circle, and teaches Native American-style flute privately and at Colorado University. Peter Wolf attends the Althea Center frequently. He also goes to Mile High. He has performed on the Native American flute at New Thought churches and events in Colorado, Costa Rica, and Mexico. He's also a professional actor in the Colorado and New Mexico region. Please welcome Tom and Peter.
Thank you all very much. I'm Tom, and that's Peter Wolf. And we the two of us know each other from Flute Circle here locally. But before I introduce Peter and have him play some beautiful music, I wanted to let you know a little bit about these flutes that we have. We love, now there's not a drop of indigenous blood between the two of us. In fact, this flute was made by a man who's from the south of France. So not everything is absolutely Native American, but there are many stories about the creation of the Native American flute, and they're as varied as the stories of creation itself. So I'll have to give you the very condensed version of one story, and it involves a young man who's a hunter and warrior in the tribe, probably a lesser family within the tribe, at courting age, and like some of the warriors in the camp, he's got his eyes on the chief's daughter, though she thinks she's a little too good for any of them. And our young man goes out into the woods hunting, following elk, and keeps going quite a long way and winds up sort of getting off track, a little lost, and realizes he's not going to make it back to camp. So he lays down under a tree and goes to sleep. And when he's asleep, he has a dream about a bird coming to talk to him and show him what the branch of a tree can do. And this bird leads him in the dream to a cedar tree and starts making holes in a branch of the tree. And after the holes are made, the wind starts blowing and makes a magical sound that just captivates our young man. But of course, and then he wakes up from this dream, and there, right above him, is a red-headed woodpecker who seems to be beckoning to follow. And he follows the bird, and lo and behold, the bird leads him to a cedar tree and makes holes in a branch. And so now our young warrior takes the branch off the tree, and he's trying very hard to figure out how to make that magical sound he heard in his dream. And he does finally figure it out. And at that point, he returns to the edge of the village, and he starts playing this branch with the holes in it. And of course, it attracts the attention of the village, but it seems there's one person, and that's the chief's daughter, who is particularly enchanted with this. And while her pride is telling her to stay put, her feet are telling her otherwise. And she goes out to meet the young warrior who is playing this flute, and she falls in love with him, and the match is made. And so the flute, which has been traditionally used by many tribes as a courting instrument for the men to court the women, becomes rather a bit popular because the other warriors in the tribe noticed that it got the chief's daughter's attention, and they have women in mind that they want to court. And so this flute making now becomes sort of a practice among the men in the village, and they go out and find a cedar tree, a branch, and they will carve the holes in it and use it to court the young women in the tribe. So that's kind of the short story. These flutes, Native American style flutes, are usually either 5 holes or 6. For you musicians in the group, they're usually in a pentatonic minor scale. For those of you who don't know, what difference does it make? And sometimes clay, but almost always some form of wood. And that's what you were hearing earlier. So now I'd like to turn it over to Peter Wolf.
Thank you, Tom. So this flute I'm going to play first actually is a Native American. And before I get started, I'm going to invite everyone into a practice which Rick actually led us in when he did his beautiful affirmative prayer. And I'm going to invite everyone to shift your awareness from your heads to your sacred hearts, and to imagine that you are breathing directly into and out from that creative center, your heart space. Perhaps breathing a little deeper and a little slower than you normally do. And we also have an opportunity for many of you to join in on our music making, to express your individualized emanations of that one perfect, whole, and complete life, the Great Spirit. And so if the ushers could help us hand out our percussion instruments to whoever would like to join in, that would be fantastic. So we've got a bag here, we've got a couple of drums and some noisemakers in the basket there. And if you have an interest in joining in, maybe raise your hand. It's all good. Some people right here in the second row. There's no wrong way to accompany me. It's all perfect. That's all I got. Thank you. Thank you. You guys sound amazing.
Well, I think we have a new band for Althea here. We're always looking for money-making projects. That could be one, right? Thank you so much. That was beautiful. It's time for our speaker today, Nancy Driver, and she is a member of Althea. I've known her for a couple years. She's part of the prayer practitioners here at Althea. And if you don't know what they are, they will be every week after service on Sundays. They are available to offer you affirmative prayer over in the library, and she is one of those wonderful people. She lives with her 2 dogs in Lakewood and has quite an eclectic background. She was a water scientist for decades and then developed the leadership, mentoring, and coaching programs for the U.S. Geological Survey. Along the way, she became a practitioner and minister for a New Thought Church, and she now runs her life coaching business, trains dogs to become service dogs, and is a prayer partner at Althea. Please welcome Nancy Driver.
Good morning. Happy 4th of July. He crawled into my lap and curled into a little ball, and then he gazed into my eyes. It was love at first sight. I took him home, and then I had to figure out what was I going to name him. Well, it was a very dark time in my life. I had, a few months before, had a major breakdown. And I had a difficult time just getting out of bed. I was in a very deep depression. So I needed something to literally get me out of bed. I needed purpose. I needed something that could give me hope again. So a dear friend of mine asked me a very important question as we tried to figure out what do we name this little ball of fur. And she said, "So what matters most to you? What's important in your life? What will get you out of bed?" And I remember taking this self-assessment test, actually, a few years before. And the question for this test was, what motivates you most in life? And there was like 72 different descriptors. So I was kind of looking through the descriptors, and I circled a few here and one over there. And then I got to this one word, and my heart beat faster. And I circled and circled and circled that word. And so my beloved puppy was named Freedom. And little did I know that every time I spoke his name, every time that I called him, I was affirming what motivated me most in life, freedom. And over the 14 years I've had him, he keeps showing me different ways to express freedom, to be free, to know freedom. So just because I've kind of explained who he is, I've got to show you a picture. Oh dear, it didn't come. Is it up? No. Yeah, I didn't hit the button though. That's okay. It'll warm. You'll get to see him soon. How's that? So, the first thing that he taught me was self-care. I was a consummate workaholic. I defined myself through my work. I had been a scientist for many decades, and then I developed the leadership program for the U.S. Geological Survey. Well, that took workaholism to a whole new level. I just was going crazy, just putting in 14, 16 hours a day, often 7 days a week, unfortunately. So I had some really bad habits. And what that was about, though, I ultimately found, was that I was trying to fill this hole within me. I was trying to prove that I was lovable, prove that I was good enough, show that, yes, if I work hard enough, if I produce hard enough, then I'm okay. Anybody else ever feel that way? Yeah. So, oh, we got the cute guy. There's freedom. So, and what freedom showed me was, if you ever watch a dog, I mean, what freedom does is if he wants food, there is no question in my mind that it is food time, and I better be feeding him right then. And sometimes if he wants to go for a walk, he'll actually even bring me the leash so that there's absolutely no question that it is time for a walk. And, you know, if he wants a nap, he just goes and takes a nap. He doesn't ask permission, he just does it. So, I had a lot to learn from him. And the first thing in my self-care was learning to set boundaries. I had no idea how to set a boundary. If somebody wanted me to do something at work, it was always, yes, and what more can I do for you? It was never checking in with me and going, maybe I need to consider something. Is this right for me? So it was really important for me to learn to stop and say no. And let me tell you, when you're deeply depressed, no is all you can do. There was no yes in my life. And so I learned to actually say no through a very difficult situation. And something Cheryl Richardson says in her book, Stand Up for Your Life. She says, to stand up for yourself, you must set boundaries. And when you do that, you are able to build your self-esteem. So he helped me to set boundaries, and freedom also really brought me back to doing prayer, affirmative prayer, something that Rick so beautifully demonstrated and that we felt through the music with Peter and the music that all of you made. It's bringing that center back, connecting with the divine again. And I had lost that. You know, it wasn't like spirit walked away from me. I walked away from spirit. So I also went and did some meditating. A lot of time in silence. A lot of time with just being with myself. And listening. Just really, really listening. I also was blessed with wonderful therapy. That helped me during this dark time. And something that freedom insisted upon at least once, twice, 3 times a day was a walk. He forced me to get out of bed. He forced me to take those journeys out into nature. He made me look at the sun and feel it on me, and to actually see the beautiful green trees and their beautiful leaves, smell the flowers, and just listen to the beautiful song of the birds. It was just blissful. It really rejuvenated me and allowed me to reconnect with my deeper self, with the divine, with life itself. So the second thing that freedom helped me with was to not worry about what everybody else thought. I was always going, well, what does the executive leadership team think about this? And what do the other instructors think about this class? And what is going on with all these other things external to me? And I was so involved with trying to get the approval of everyone else instead of coming within myself and finding my own self-approval and finding what are my values, what are my principles. That is what I needed to connect with, not everything out here. But if you look at a dog, look at Dear Freedom, you know, he doesn't care what other people think. He doesn't care what people think at all. I can guarantee you. He basically goes and greets a dog, and he's smelling their butts. And they're smelling his. So, you know, that's how he greets. And I take him for a walk out to the park, and he is looking for the most stinkiest, deadest, most disgusting thing in that park so he can go roll in it. You know, I don't think he cares what others think at all. And he just, he knows how to just be himself. That's who he is. So I got to learn how to pull out of myself and not worry about all these people giving me the approval. Instead, I could start going within and learning to do that. So at this point, I'm going to do a little experiential thing. And I'm going to ask Daryl to come up, and I'm going to ask Rick and Tom and Peter. And what I want all of you to do is I'd love you to stand if you're able. And I am going to ask those of you who want to do a bit of moving to come out into the aisles, if you'd like to get into the aisles. And we can do a bit of maybe dancing or moving along with singing. So I would love for you to experience to dance as though nobody is watching and sing as though nobody is listening. So are you ready for it? All right.
Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's all right. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's all right. darling, the smiles returning to their faces. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's all right. Sun, 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 here it comes. 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 Little darling, the ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's all right. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's all right. It's all right.
Thank you so much.
How did that feel? You guys are great. Oh my gosh. Just the energy, I loved how you moved. Oh man, you did it. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your participation in that. So that is just one experience of moving from fear, from self-consciousness to freedom. And I just wanted you to experience what that felt like, because that is the journey that I've had to take over these 14 years. So the third thing that my beloved Freedom, I love looking at his picture, taught me was to learn to accept myself as I am, and also to accept life as it is. One thing that he does, no matter what mood I'm in, I can be cranky, I can be whatever, not always in the best mood. I'll come in and he'll just wag his tail and he'll lick me and just be so happy to see me and let me know I'm loved, regardless of whether I'm experiencing or expressing my shadow side or my kinder side. He just accepts me and loves me and adores me. Well, I had spent so much time in this self-critical world where I just beat myself up and only had words of negativity about myself. And this little ball of fur that came into my life, he started to show me, no, Nancy, you are okay. You are so okay, just the way you are. And he helped me to find that side of me that was even, likable, much less lovable. And something that he did along with helping me to learn to love myself was he also showed me that it's okay to just accept things as they come. If you look at a dog, he doesn't care if I take him for a short walk or if I take him for a long walk. He is perfectly happy either way. He accepts whatever I offer him. I could spend all day away from him, or I could have spent the entire day with him. And he's just okay. It's okay with him that that's what I'm doing. And he just accepts things. And, you know, I could give him steak, or I could give him dog kibble. Now, that one he does have a preference for. There's no doubt. But he loves me, either one I give him. I'm okay. And so from this journey of self-criticism and only seeing and feeling hopeless and darkness, he's taken this journey with me to start to see the light that is within me, to see that, yes, I have goodness, and yes, I can accept myself just the way I am. And more importantly, I never thought I'd get here, but I actually got to the place where I love myself. And that is probably the greatest miracle of them all. And it's, I can thank my beloved Freedom for bringing me there and helping me to see the good in me. And he showed me just how to take care of myself and be able to take care of my own needs and even recognize that I had needs. And then he also showed me that I didn't need to have the approval from everybody out here. I could have that approval from within here. And that was a big step that he showed me. And lastly, when he showed me that I am somebody worth accepting and even loving, that was something that I didn't think was possible for me. But he kept showing me and kept reminding me how to do that. And so in honor of Independence Day, the 4th of July, I felt that freedom was really an important topic. And so I wanted to just have us think about freedom and recognize that we can create freedom within ourselves. And sometimes we even have to fight for that freedom because others may not want us to express and be that free. And ultimately, I think it's so important that we commit ourselves to being as free as we possibly can. So in conclusion, I just wanted to let you know that it's been 14 years since I have done any public speaking. And this journey of preparing for this talk and giving this talk has been very challenging. I have had to walk through the pain of these memories. And it has been not easy, and it's also been healing. So both are true. And I could not have done this without this incredible community of Althea. I would not be up here if I hadn't felt the support, the love, the acceptance by each one of you. So I want to thank you for being my witnesses and my support. Namaste.
Thank you so much. Beautiful message. And that song, my gosh, Here Comes the Sun. For those of you under 20, that was by a group called The Beatles. They were really big in the 60s and 70s. Um, and I thought a couple of you were going to start taking your clothes off. And I thought, oh boy, she wraps this up pretty soon. So thank you so much. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. Now is the time we are really getting back to normal. We're actually handing out the baskets for offerings. And yes, this is a time to open your hearts and your connection to infinite abundance. And yes, it's true we have a light bill to pay, and so do you. So, of course, there are those earthly things. But think about what Althea means to you, and this beautiful music, and this beautiful sanctuary, and this beautiful speaker that we had today, and to keep that going, and to support it, and to love it. So just let that guide your gift, and thank you in advance. There are other ways to support Althea. You can sign up to be an Evergreen member. We have a dip jar, which is an electronic device. Yes, we are so hip here. We have a dip jar. Thank you to our technical experts here. And that is simply where it's in the back here. You just take your credit card and you dip it, dip it, dip it, dip it. And I think you have to dip it about 10 times before it works. That's what I've heard. You can also sign up for a community connection with King Soopers, and also at Amazon. Smile, you have to make sure that when you do sign up and designate Althea as your community of service, that when you order stuff, you go to smile.amazon. And so I really splurged this past, what was it, Prime Day at Amazon? I bought new socks. And so, let's see, are we about through? And Judith is going to give our blessing of our offering here. And so, ushers, if you would please just bring your baskets down to the front, and Judith will offer her words of blessing.
This is a traditional Islamic blessing. As we sit in sanctuary and rejoice in the goodness and mercy of the one God, may the bonds of our friendship be strengthened. And may our fellowship be in the light, in the darkness, and most importantly, may we remember that in opening ourselves to each other, we open ourselves to God. We thank you for your many, many gifts. Amen.
Thank you so much. And now, more flutes from our flautists. Not flauta, but flautists. Tom and Peter.
Nobody rings the phone while this is going. Just hit that forward arrow when I left. This is a piece that I wrote about a place in Rocky Mountain National Park called Lost Lake. Thank you. But you're not rid of us yet. Peter's going to join me, do a little bit of soloing like we did at the beginning. Peter, you can start out while I grab a flute.
Invite everyone to practice that heart-focused breathing once again. Placing your awareness on your sacred heart, breathing into and out from your creative center.
We have come to that part of the service where just a few announcements. And I would like to start off with saying we had our first, well, actually, it's our second town hall. This was on Wednesday evening to go over a lot of the accomplishments from the transition. And we had about 20 people. We are going to do the same thing next Sunday after service. So don't feel like if you missed Wednesday night, you won't know what's going on. You have another chance. We will be putting something out, a link to a PDF on our website. But these were the actions of the transition led by Alma Lancourt, Pam Getty's daughter. And it was 3 prongs. It was interviewing the board, interviewing members of the community, and the anonymous survey. And so she presented and I presented the results of those 3 parts to our goals of seeing what the community wants. So we will be presenting those again next Sunday. Please show up. Donuts have showed up once again today, and I think donut holes. Next week, however, we are going to have lunch at Althea. Woohoo! Yes, this will be the first time since March. And, we had to do something with that hamburger, so we're going to start with lunch next week. It's been in the freezer. It should be okay. No, we have Kerry, who, if you remember him from, oh, gosh, what's going on, 2 years ago? He, I think, was alternating with Tom. So he's very excited. He's wonderful. So that is coming back. Our membership team is going to be meeting also Sunday, July 18th, so in 2 weeks. And if you would like to be a part of that to create a welcoming process and presence, for our first-time Sunday visitors. Not that we don't today, but so that we can be a little more proactive. It's a terrific team led by board member Charlie. Mariposa, our LGBTQ plus organization, is having its first Wednesday, and they're doing a potluck. So food is coming back to Althea. Let's see. Summer Sizzler, Reverend Suzanne Hunt, is doing a 3-week intensive of her healing, meditation, and energy awareness on Saturdays. Kathy Humphreys continues to do her community connections class on Thursdays at 11. And for those of you who would like to be a volunteer, please see Sarma. We always need people to, as greeters or preparers or you name it, there's always wonderful things to do here and be of service to the community. We also have our community outreach, which is a wonderful organization. If you know somebody who needs a trip to the grocery store, or they need somebody to go pick up a prescription, or a visit, or something like that, we have a wonderful group of people, so please let us know about that as well. Today, after the service, or after around 12:30, is going to be the second meeting of our visioning group. So for Althea's transition, we wanted to start off with spiritual principles. And that was the first team that we organized, led by, what is the matter with me? Led by Reverend Mary Jo Honiotis and Reverend Arika King. And so at 12:30 today will be the second meeting. You do not have to have been present at the first one. Please join us to lay that foundation for making Althea what we want it to be. And so, is there anything else? Yes. Oh, yeah. Ginny, come on up. Yeah. She's going to let us know what's coming up, and then we'll get out of here with a rousing song and donuts.
And donuts, yes. Food is coming back. I mean, do we even need to talk about anything else? Right? And it won't be the big Thanksgiving buffet that we were all used to. It's going to be lighter fare, but it's going to have vegan choices, and it's locally sourced, and it's organic, and it's going to be wonderful. So that's next Sunday. So be here. This Sunday, we have coffee and tea for you, so stick around for that. My name is Ginny Castleberry, and I am part of the team that is trying to bring you amazing, diverse, interesting, intriguing, improvisational Sundays. So keep coming. Thank you all for giving us your holiday morning. We very much appreciate that. Thank you for being here. Here's what's coming up, besides just the food. The heart of home is what we're going to talk about next Sunday. We're going to have a panel led by Rick. We're going to have two folks from our community, Barbara Boucher and Dick Peterson, who have two people who have struggled with what we call housing insecurity in their lives and have lived to tell that tale, and they're going to talk to us from that place. What is the heart of home? The next weekend, or the next Sunday, we have Who Welcomes All Your Guests with Christopher Meyer and Bluegrass Trio, the Front Porch Singers, who are going to knock your socks off. The next Sunday, we have Prepare to Receive, your personal guidance system with Cindy Cleveland, and more wonderful music, a guitarist, a woman who will give us her guitar musings. And then we have, let's see, are we into August? Oh my gosh, then we're getting into August, and we're still working out some of August, but there's an amazing woman, Betty Hart, right here from Denver, who has more than 1 million hits on her TED Talks that she's given. So she's going to be right up here on our stage coming in August. More amazing music with Stephen Fordham, whom we love, our pianist, Susie Peak. We're going to have young, fiery voices of some millennials and even younger who are going to get up and give us poetry and music and performance art. All of it's coming, so please keep rolling out for our wonderful Sundays. Rick? Yes.
Now it's time for our closing prayer. Connie, or yes. Hello?
Am I on? Okay. First off, thank you, Peter. as always, love. What a beautiful group of people. You are each in your heart. And so let's honor that space as we go within and begin to think about who and what we are. How free are we? How are we willing to stand up for that freedom? For that freedom is already here. That freedom is in that place that we call our heart. And so as we touch that place within us, accepting and knowing that right here is that divine energy that we call God, that we embrace as nature and nurture. For it is there that we come to as we have joined together on this day. We have been uplifted. We have celebrated this time together. And now it's time to take that celebration forward into this week. And to be that firecracker that God has created you to be. And so as we accept that mission, as we say yes to life, we say thank you. Thank you for this community. Thank you for the volunteers. Thank you for the talent. Thank you for the love that has been displayed here this morning. Thank you for life. And we release these words into the power that is, knowing it is so, and so it is. Go forth in freedom. Amen.
All right, thank you again so much. Thank you for your contributions. We're going to have a rousing patriotic song to march us out. And thank you to all the volunteers, Sarma and Susan and Daryl and Aaron and all the greeters and all of you, Jason and Jason. Thank you all. Okay, take it away, Daryl. Oh, and Rick. And Rick.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for pilgrim feet whose stern impassioned stress a thoroughfare for freedom beat across the wilderness. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy liberating strife, who more than self their country love, and mercy more than life. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for patriot dream that sees beyond the years, thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed her grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shine.